Sports.
But what can we look forward from Joel Embiid? I just want to win a championship. Whatever it takes. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's in Philly or, anywhere else. I just want to have a chance to accomplish that. I want to see what it feels like to win that first one, and then you can think about, the next one. It's not easy. But it takes more than, one, 2, 3 guys. Gotta have, good people around you. And, like myself, every single day I work hard to, be at that level.
Was that Joel Embiid sending a subtle message to the Philadelphia 76ers? I don't know, folks. In a recent interview, Joel Embiid said he just wants to win a championship, whether it's in Philly or somewhere else. That is right. Welcome back to Bite Size Sports. This is the Bite Size Sports Podcast. I am your host, Kev Nevick. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you don't mind. We sure would appreciate it. Back to the story here, though. Joel Embiid, while on stage during an interview, said everything that you just heard. Now, looking at his contract, we see that Joel Embiid is locked up, technically, through the 2025-26 season. He will be 31 that year. He also has a player option for 26-27, a $59 million player option, by the way. So the question is, will Joel Embiid end up being the next in a long line of star players to request a trade before his contract has expired? Now, I want to talk about this in two frames, I guess. There's two timelines in which I think we can answer this. Do I think Joel Embiid will be traded from Philly this year or will demand a trade this year? No, I do not. I think he is committed to this entire season, or at least for this entire season, to this organization. I don't know that this Sixer team can compete for a championship. We shall see. The offseason is not over yet. Obviously, the Dame Lillard trade, potential future trade, could have some major implications around the league. There's still a lot to be said, a lot to be decided between now and opening night. But I believe Joel Embiid will be a Sixer throughout this season. I don't know that we'll hear any more rumblings. I wonder how, it's tough to say. I was going to say, I wonder how much of this would be a story if this were during the regular season. But, I kind of caught myself mid-sentence because I do believe in today's day and age, this is a story no matter when Joel Embiid says it, because it's Twitter, because 24-hour news cycle, all that good stuff. We were always going to end up talking about this no matter what point of the season that he said it, but it doesn't hurt that it's during the offseason when there's not as much to talk about in the NBA world. And we know that the Sixers have made moves in the past over the last couple of seasons to try their very best to prepare themselves for a championship run. We talked about James Harden's alleged tampering deal last year, the one that kicked up a lot of dust in the offseason that allowed them to bring a few former Rockets into the fold to try to make a championship push. So we know that the Sixers are going to try to put the best roster around Joel Embiid, but we also know that James Harden wants out. I hear Clippers. I think that's what everyone hears, right? That's what we've all been told. He wants to play for the Clippers. He's determined to make that happen. What could the Sixers get in return in a James Harden deal that is going to allow Joel Embiid and Maxey and maybe Tobias Harris if he's still there? What's going to get that core over the hump, especially if Dame ends up in Miami? We don't know exactly what we're going to see from Boston. I think a lot of people are hyped for this Porzingis addition. I am a bit cautious there. I really like Marcus Smart. I think he's a great player. I'm not saying that the Celtics could have just run it back and would have won this whole thing. I am understanding how good this team with Porzingis could be theoretically. I also understand that injuries are a thing, and I don't know how much that core is going to get to play together. And then there's Milwaukee. Milwaukee still seems right now to me to be the best team in the East. They had a horrible first round exit, but there was a lot going on there. Giannis is back. Mike Budenholzer with some tragedy in his family that he had to deal with in the middle of that series. It's got to be hard to be at your best when you're dealing with something like that, and then you're coaching against the best in-game and maybe in-series adjustment maker in the NBA. So, the Bucks are right up there too. So I don't think the Sixers are going to do enough this year to be in that championship mix, and that's where we get to part two of this answer, which is that I do believe starting in maybe the offseason next year, but the 24-25 season, Joel Embiid will be 30 years old, and I think that will be when these chats start to ramp up. And just imagine, folks, if you will, the implications of just how catastrophic of a failure the process will have been if Joel Embiid leaves Philadelphia next season or after this season with 0 championships. That was, what are we talking? Talking about Okafor was part of that, not the right, not the younger one. I'm trying to think of all because they've moved on from several. It's not just Marcus or Markelle Fultz that they've moved off of. They've moved off of a couple of these early picks early on in the process. It's not been good. I think Embiid is the only original member of that whole thing left. So, essentially he is the process, but I can imagine it would be time for him to start looking elsewhere if the Sixers once again fall short this season. And unfortunately for them, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So be on the lookout. Without a championship, I do not expect Joel Embiid to finish his current contract with the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm so sorry to our dear listeners out there. I know we've got some Philly faithful in the Bite Size Sports audience, so I'm sorry. I hope you hear me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why Joel Embiid is here to stay. Tell me who is going to be added around him to make this roster work. And if you don't mind, let me know who you would like to get in return for James Harden if that Clippers deal goes through. So Philly fans, I want to hear from you. Rest of the NBA fans would also love to hear from you. Go check us out Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. The Bounce, that is me, James Schmeitz. Along with me, we will be talking hoops every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Our short vacation is over, so check it out right now. That's youtube.com/Bite Size Sports. Don't forget the dash in there. We thank you all so much. We will see you next time. Take care.